This one is going to be a little bit of a weird video. I'm going to be talking about the Doki Doki Literature Club, and I'm going to talk to you about why I like this game so much. To begin with, it's made by a very small development studio. Well, I shouldn't even call it a studio because most of this game is made by a guy called Salvato. I hope I got the name right. And, well, the most interesting feature of this game, in my opinion, what makes it really stand out to me when I was browsing Steam and such, is that this game is actually free. You heard that. Free. Like, a lot of indie developers will choose to charge money, and I think that this game, they could have even charged money, and they could have made so much money from the money alone, instead of relying on peripheral sources of income for the game. Like, like, oh, they have to sell merchandise and stuff, but I feel like they could have made money from that game itself, but, they're actually selling the Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm just gonna call it DDLC. They're selling the DDLC for free, this whole game. Now, of course, it's a tiny game, mostly made by this one fellow, and it's very short. It's long. It's a short visual novel, but otherwise it's a decently sized game. It's a visual novel, so it's not like it has fancy mechanics or anything. It's about, maybe, it depends on which routes you take and how many times you want to play through the game. But in general, you can beat the game in about, I would say, like 10 hours, maybe more or less, depending on how fast you can read through the lines of dialogue. And yeah, since it's a visual novel kind of game, you're just listening to the characters talk, you're watching these, like, 2D characters with their expressions. You can make choices in the game to go with each character, like a visual novel, how they have choices of which character you can go along with. And, DDLC, it's a really unique game. You're presented with a very weird warning when you open up the game, and you have to agree to it to play the game, so something is suspicious. I'm not spoiling anything. But this game is just so amazing because, to begin with, it's free, so, you can just play the game and even drop the game if you don't like it. It's such a weird game. It's not your traditional kind of game. It's not like how in the old days you used to have these free shooters and stuff. I know that I used to play a lot of Guns, like Guns spelled with a Z. I think that was a Korean shooter game. That was a free game I used to play a lot. And, a lot of these old 3D games that were free, they used to have a lot of microtransactions. And, like, you can kind of think of free games in the old days, kind of like what you would see in the mobile market. Like, the mobile games you can buy on your phone, they're all free, but then they end up, getting their money's worth by adding in a whole bunch of these microtransactions. But this DDLC, wow, it's free, so, like, you really have nothing to lose except time. But why would you be playing games if you wanted more time, you know what I mean? So, this game is just so interesting. It tries to take a new twist to the typical visual novel. Now, not all visual novels are like this, in the sense that, not all visual novels are romance. Most of them are, but a lot of them are not. And then, again, not all visual novels are inappropriate games either. And yeah, with old visual novel games, you would have different kinds of visual novels. Like, some of them would be horror kind of visual novels. Some of them have visual novels where you solve puzzles, and some of them have, like, the court style visual novels, like Ace Attorney, and then you have Danganronpa. And yeah, you have visual novels of all kinds, to be honest. But this game, yeah, you can see, like, it has a horror rating on Steam. Like, it says that its genre is horror. You see a big warning, so something weird is going to happen. And yeah, I'm not spoiling anything, but, it's short. It's a short game. It's really weird. I liked I would say maybe the first third of the game more than the other parts, but, if you haven't played this game, I really do recommend that you, like, just download it on Steam. I'm pretty sure it doesn't even have that much requirements. You can probably play this game on a really low-end PC because it's just a visual novel. It doesn't have intense graphics or anything. I think that this game, I might be slightly wrong about this, but yeah, this game was made with with a visual novel maker. I think it was called Renpai. And yeah, it's a popular visual novel maker where you can just add lines of dialogues, add characters, draw your characters, add music, this kind of stuff. The artwork in this game is it's not bad at all. It's it tries to mimic the traditional kind of Japanese romance kind of visual novels. It's just trying to mimic it on purpose. It's not trying to be the best at anything, but this game is just so cryptic when you get to the big twist, all of that stuff. It's just so interesting. Like, it's one of those games that, yeah, it has a big twist in the middle. And if you don't know what you're expecting, and you shouldn't know what to expect, you should go into it blind. And then only when you get stuck, then you should consult a guide. And yeah, this game is just so funny because a lot of people have made fake guides for the game to try to trick people. Because people are not, like, they didn't know what to go into at first. And a lot of people, yeah, there's fake guides online. And I know that the game is cryptic because they actually put in a lot of, websites and Twitter accounts, and they made them before the game was released, so it looks like extra creepy. It's like, hey, like, those cryptic websites that some games used to feature and stuff, and you can visit them, and you'd see more stuff. And this game has a whole bunch of Easter eggs as well. And yeah, like, it's just so cryptic and creepy. It's not scary, but it is a creepy game. That's what it does turn into. And maybe you shouldn't play this game if you really are easily creeped out and stuff, because the game does have a lot of nasty twists. But once you get through the game, you can talk about it with all your friends, and you can have a good laugh because you can. It's not really a game that you would play for replayability or anything, unless you want to take a different character route. Then you can do that. The game does have multiple endings, but in general, there's just one ending. There's like one like bonus ending you can get really quickly, and then there's the regular ending and the best ending, but they're not really that different. And yeah, this game doesn't really have proper routes that you can take, but you can see different scenes depending on which characters you're close with. And yeah, it's such an interesting game. It's kind of funny as well. I know you shouldn't laugh at it, but yeah, not all of it's too scary. I mean, some of it's kind of funny when you realize what happens. And it's funny to go through. And then you can, once you play through the games, you can look at all of the funny memes online. People keep making funny memes, funny YouTube videos. It's just so funny. But what I really like most about the game is that, and I know I'm being like a cheap ass, ooh, why do you like it? But it's free, and you don't see anything free nowadays. The only things that you see free nowadays are stuff that's on multiplayer only kind of games. Those are free, and then you have like games that are littered with microtransactions just to progress in the game, like the shitty mobile games. Like, and no offense to people who like that, but it's not my thing. And yeah, like, I mean, it's actually like a free, visual novel on Steam. And this guy, and to publish on Steam, it's not cheap. You do have to spend like, well, it's just $100, I think, nowadays. But it's just so interesting to see something free, and he's only making money from like these other sources, like merchandise and stuff. And I'm sure he's making back whatever time he spent making the game. But yeah, like that's really amazing. Free game, even though it's short and it's just a visual novel. It's just so interesting to read through. And yeah, like it's kind of lengthy. Like it'll take you like a couple days to get through it, unless you want to like sit entirely for one day. It's a little bit too much for one sitting, I'd say. But yeah, it's just so interesting. This game is really packed with a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of fun content. And yeah, I'm telling you that especially if you don't know any of the twists or anything yet, and you should really play this game whenever you can, because you don't want to get spoiled or anything. I played this game blind, and I'm like, whoa, I thought that the game was gonna have a twist, but I didn't think it was gonna twist so badly, So I really do think that you have nothing to lose at all by choosing to play this game. Yeah, it's a weird game. A lot of people meme on it. It is really a weird phenomenon, to put simply. But you should try it. Like I tried Undertale a couple of years back too, and I'm like, at first this looks like shit. Like why would I play this? But when I played through it, it honestly seemed like a deconstruction of JRPGs. And this, maybe I shouldn't go so far, but this DDLC game, it feels like a deconstruction of the visual novel. Maybe that's going a bit too far, but You have nothing to lose, so go download it. I'm telling you, I like this game and you should try new things, especially if you don't have any other games to play. If it's a dead time, play it. It's free. If you enjoyed watching the content in this video, please consider giving it a like. Also, please consider subscribing to our channel so that you can be the first to receive all of our latest content.